and welcome to What's New with Mike and Jeff, your Saturday morning hobby hangout, coming to you live via the interweb. I'm your host, Mike, and with me is the man that did something this week, Jeff.
What?
Good
No
morning.
way.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, David. I'm talking about your little post.
What Oh, I did a thing. Yeah.
You did a thing.
Yeah, I forgot to add that to the pictures today.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's the nice thing about technology. I can do it right now.
Yes, and good thing I reminded you because,
Yeah.
well, do you remember why you're in the room this morning?
Not really.
Okay.
I just wandered in.
You just kind of wandered on in this morning and go, I'm just going to sit here and do something.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
That's funny. That is funny.
I told you about the problems I was having this morning with pictures.
Yes.
Like an idiot, I didn't get them done last night because I was busy.
Right.
I had to drop the Explorer off at the repair shop to get that new exhaust put on it. And so I thought I'll just do it in the morning. It never takes very long. And then, of course, I had all sorts of problems. I got it figured out, got all the pictures, but it was a nightmare up to that point. So,
well, it happens. It happens to the best of us. So
yeah. But the nice thing was, it was not my machine. It was not my computer. It was something with Discord. I have no idea what it was with Discord, but I figured it out.
Well, Discord is what Discord is.
It is a nightmare.
So what else have you been up to other than a thing?
I have been painting. As I said, my Explorer goes into the shop, or is in the shop right now. I dropped it off last night. They're putting a new exhaust on it and some other stuff.
Cool.
And hopefully that will be the last of the gigantic major repair work that I need done.
So now you can try to get caught back up on life.
Yeah, kind of caught back up on life and caught back up on miniature painting.
Yeah.
One of the problems with me as a commission painter is the fact that when my life is disorganized, and because I'm a routine person, I like getting up, I like doing certain things and just having that routine. And since early last year, that hasn't been the case.
Yeah.
And I'm just out of my element, out of my comfort zone.
Well,
but in a bad way.
We are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And when you're outside your habits, you become uncomfortable. And I'm all about the uncomfortable, but I understand the programming that we go through, and that's kind of part of it. Is
I've learned from you that stepping out of your comfort zone is a good thing. Right. This is not teaching me anything. I am not expanding nothing. It's just like I am that ship that keeps getting in those little meteorite storms, just keep pounding on me.
You're the person trying to plug all the holes in the dam, and it's just not working.
Yeah.
No, it's a different.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
So. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, but you are a strong-willed adult. I know. I snuck
in. Who's he talking to?
I shouldn't have said that 5-letter word, but you are an adult. You will be just fine.
Well, physically, yeah. I mean, I was noticing on this morning's intro that picture when I put the actual photos of you and I up. I took that picture of me probably 18 months ago.
Yeah, I remember the brown hat when you.
Yeah, I had my hat on, and I took it for Build Paint Play when I did their Tales for Warlords.
Yeah.
I had not colored my beard when I took that because it still got that natural red what I normally have. Now this will let you know what stepping out of your comfort zone in life does. It's just solid gray.
Solid gray. Well, I've got something I'm going to do to you.
What?
But it's totally out of respect and the bond of our relationship.
That frightens me.
Yeah. So we were talking this morning a little bit.
I'm ready. Hit me.
Well, we were talking a little bit this morning about Amos.
Yeah.
And how Amos, you had some photos online and you were trying to upload. One of the things Amos talked about or told us about was this new game called Void Admiral.
Yes.
And you were like, I don't want to get into Void Admiral I don't need another game. Good morning, David.
Morning, David.
I don't need another game. I picked it up after he talked about it because these are on Amazon. I think
Yeah.
both books cost me $15, so it wasn't an expensive investment. And I just wanted to see what the game was all about because one of the things I was hoping for in life that never came out was Mike Hutchinson doing like a Gaslands version of a spaceship game
Sure.
where
Makes sense.
simple rules, easy to play, but then he put out A Billion Suns, which was just ridiculous.
Right.
I'm sorry I ever mentioned that game to anybody, but I was optimistic that he was going to create a simple, fun game. This is the simple, fun game. So,
Oh, okay.
do you remember when we used to play Saga?
Yeah.
This is right in line with Saga.
And it bothers me that you had to say it. Do you remember when we used to play Saga? I love Saga, and we'll play it again in a heartbeat. But yeah, I haven't played Saga in forever.
I don't even know where Saga are. What edition of the rules are they on? Because I
think
remember
it's the second edition. Yeah.
I remember I was at Adepticon. I bought you and I both second edition rule books or something. I remember I bought stuff for Saga at Adepticon one year. So this has that vibe of this has that vibe of Saga because you have a command board, you roll dice, you put them on the command board, you expend them, everything. It's basically you hit on a 4+. On a 4 and a 5, you do 1 point of damage. On a 6, you do 2 points of damage. So it's got that very simplistic,
very easy system
mechanic for playing a spaceship game. You have to move 4 inches before you can turn, and then you can continue on moving. So not over the top. The expansion gives you some more complexity to the rules if you want them, or if you don't, you don't have to. Lots of different factions. Just like Saga, a lot of the differences are going to be in the command boards. It's not going to be in the stats. You're going to have guns that do this, armor, shields, all that. All the ships are going to be kind of the same, but a little different with like firing arcs and types of. There's only like 3 types of weapons. You got cannons, blasters, and lasers. Like that's pretty much all you have. So you don't have a lot of weapon choices. What's up?
Hey, Victor.
But the game is pretty simple. It's got that vibe of Saga when it's just like, yeah, we don't need to know a lot about rules. We're just going to kind of go out there and play the game. I think the rules maybe 7 pages. And this is kind of a little bit bigger than A5. I forget the comic book size.
Right.
Books. Yep. So you may want to, I know you were resistant with getting into another game. It might be something you might want to take a gander at.
Take a look at it.
Only thing I'm kind of like a little disappointed about is like all your command boards are in the book. So, and this is a glue bound book so that nothing lays flat. They kind of
yeah.
So either you're gonna have to photocopy this, or I'm gonna have to buy this as a PDF.
They sell them as PDF.
Yeah, maybe buy it just as a PDF, like have the rule book out for gameplay, but then have the PDF so I can print my factions and all my stuff.
Yeah, well, it probably wouldn't cost that much to do a PDF to save.
Yeah, if they don't have it as a PDF, I'll just cut the spine and just like it's a $7 book. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's a GW book that costs.
I may have to see if I can find a place up here to pick one up.
Well, I just thought it'd be kind of cool because I have all those Firestorm mono models, plus I have all the Halo models that you remember the Halo models. So I got all my Halo models also. So I have models that I can use. I don't think I have Drop Fleet Commander stuff, but I'll have to take a look. I might have Drop Fleet Commander.
Well, I posted the link on Discord where Amos picked up those ships.
Okay.
So it's in the sci-fi section for that link. They're nice looking ships. They're really nice.
Yeah.
So I may have to give that a second look.
But I do think you're gonna have to, like any of these miniature agnostic or whatever game.
Agnostic.
I always forget the A. You can do like you need scaling's important. Like I'm not gonna break out my Halo stuff and played against somebody that has Firestorm Armada, because the
Right.
scaling of Firestorm Armada is just like they're bigger models, and the Halo stuff's pretty small. So you gotta. That's why if you got a group you're playing with and they have a company that they're using, you kind of want to stick with that company.
Yeah.
So I was on the old eBay this morning, looking for more Firestorm Armada stuff, and just like everything, out of production, 3 times the price. So
Yeah. Oh, it's insane.
so I may not grow that portion of my collection.
Everything becomes collectible anymore. It's insane.
Which is weird because nobody really like Firestorm Armada was not the most popular game back in the day.
Yeah, you get those guys that are nuts for it. They'll check up that extra money. So
I will not. I will.
It has to be something I really, really want before I'll consider doing something like that.
Sure. Like if you found a Space Wolf, I don't think Battlefleet Gothic had Space Wolf.
They had a morning, Don. They had Marine fleets, and then you could paint them up as Space Wolf fleet. And I converted all mine. And I quite frankly, I think the biggest reason, if I want to delve deep into the psyche, that is me.
Good morning, Heron.
My depression that I actually sold my Battlefleet Gothic fleet. I had a really nice Space Wolf themed Battlefleet Gothic fleet that I sold for a chunk of change,
right,
at one of the garage sales at IOG, and so I think my regret for that is part one of the motivators. I don't want to get no shit, kid.
Well, you may want to take a look at this.
I will take a look.
Just for $8 for a rule book, and they're packed full of factions.
Well, it's $8 for a rule book is not bad. Mine is the I haven't even finished my Wolf Spear yet. Now the thing about me is, though, I'll never be finished with my Wolf Spear.
No.
I'm trying to get as much done as I can before the actual codex comes out, because I still want to do a true pure Space Wolf army.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just been crazy.
Well, and when 11th edition comes out, you and I are going to do the painting thing. So
yeah, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, David, Gothic Marine fleets.
I love Battlefleet Gothic,
and I still, for Battlefleet Gothic, I still have my Orcs, and I have an Eldar fleet. So the Eldar fleet I picked up at a Gamer's Garage sale. I think it was Timmy Kevorkian?
Dvorak.
Yeah. Kevorkian. I always go down that crazy road. Dvorak. It was one of his fleets, and it was an Eldar fleet, and it was like a small collection of models. But it's Battlefleet Gothic, which is pretty cool. Has prayers, did the Wolves except for
they did actually. However, from everything I'm hearing, to get off track for a minute because it's Space Wolf talk, so I'm just going to go. From my understanding, what I'm hearing when the new codex comes out, the Space Wolf traditional long fangs, blood claws, and Grey Hunters will still exist. They'll just be Primaris. And if that's the case, if that rumor is accurate, my Wolfspear army will be primarily a Primaris-based army with only Primaris-based units, with the exception of my Thunderwolf Cav, if they still have those. That's the other rumor I'm hearing, and Thunderwolf Cav are going away. And my Space Wolf will be a pure, Grey Hunter, Longfang, Blood Claws kind of a.
That'd be cool. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with orcs. This will be another revised orc edition. I don't know.
The orcs, quite frankly, in my opinion, because I've been playing so long, they're the staple bad guy in 40K from the get-go. They were the big bad guy before all the other stuff came out. And then what they became for a while, they were the comic relief.
Right.
And then they were just kind of not taken seriously, and they haven't really done them justice. I mean, they started to with 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
But the orcs are a massively tough army, and it's one of the toughest horde armies out there.
Yeah.
So I hope they do them justice, because that was the whole point of them at the beginning of 40. Because I mean, the initial in Rogue Trader was a battle at the farm, which was Space Marines versus orcs.
Victor's talking about how he
Morning,
regretted,
Amos.
his selling his Man of War stuff, which I can understand that.
I have all the Manowar stuff under. I want to get out. I was telling Amos the other day. I want to buy a ocean view mat, battle mat. I really want to pull out all of my Manowar stuff, put it on that mat, and take a really cool picture of it. 'Cause I've got it all.
I can send you Dreadfleet. Then that had like a I don't think it was silk, but like a cloth water mat.
How big is it? I actually need a 4x8 one because
oh no, I don't think it's 4x8.
I have everything ever made. I bought it off of John actually.
Yeah, and that was John. No, you didn't buy it off of John. I think
it was originally John's. Went to somebody else, something like that.
I think it was Philip.
Somebody, I don't know who it was.
Yeah, but it was everything for Man of War.
I have everything for Man of War.
And then I think I bought. And then I bought you a big box of crap at a garage sale type thing, but I think it had the rule books or so. You needed something from it.
I think I was missing Plague Fleet or Sea of Blood. It gave me one of those rule books. It gave me a second Man of War book,
right?
And then all the expansion books. And I mean, I have everything, all the tokens. I have everything. To the point. And the problem is, I don't have the space to do it justice.
No.
And display it. I did a thing this week that I may do again, and that I'm thinking about using that one to display my Man of War system.
That would be awesome because it's painted very retro. It's an old paint style that we used to do back in the day.
It's old White Dwarf, I mean 80 and 90 era White Dwarf painting.
Yeah, which is still it's becoming popular again.
I came across a meme online. I tried to send it to you, but it wouldn't let me. But it was talking about editions of 40K, and I thought of you, and I thought of Lenny, because they're talking about how the Space Marines look, and he goes, "No, I'm talking about the original, back when they used Goblin Green, and they had it was a cartoon, like a comic strip, and he holds up an old style bottle of Goblin Green paint. I laughed."
Since Amos is on, Amos, I was just talking about Void Admiral since you turned us onto it, or you turned me onto it. So we were having a chat about the good old days of Battlefleet Gothic. Oh, Heron, what's going on here?
And Amos, if you want to know how I responded, just going to have to come back in and watch the rest of the show.
Yeah. Built in the age before the fiber optics and light up kits they do nowadays. Look at the different pictures available at the time. Each place where there was a light to glow, dark paint. Yeah, worked like a charm. Still works well today. Yep. Speaking of painting, Jason and I spent yesterday painting all of his 3D printed Space Hulk terrain. So he found there's a company out there that did the digital sculpting of Space Hulk. So it's all like Space Hulk stuff, love fleet stuff. What did you think of the rule book? I think it's everything. It's I was comparing it to Saga. I think that was a good for anybody like Jeff and I both played Saga a lot. I think these rules kind of fall in line with the simplicity of the rules, targeting and all that kind of stuff. And with the battle boards and all, or the command boards and all that, it really falls in line with Saga. So I'm kind of excited. But yeah, so we spent all day yesterday painting Space Hulk. Fun. So he's going to have a 3-dimensional Space Hulk, and it's all the different boards are similar to. Yep. Good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I got a bunch of Firestorm Armada stuff, so that's what I'm going to use it for. And also Halo. Halo.
I'm excited on a TV point. Netflix picked up the Halo TV series.
Oh, that'll be cool.
They bought the rights, so there is a chance they may bring a third season out. Most guys that play the game don't care for the show. I like the show, but I never played the game.
Yeah, Halo is just one of those weird properties. It's kind of a cool Starship Troopers vibe kind of property.
Well, you compare every spacefaring combat ship to Starship Troopers.
It's the only way I can like it.
I'm not complaining.
Flashpoint's the same thing. The miniatures game. But yeah, I missed out on and I screwed up and I should have done it when um I forget the company's name that did Firestorm Armada, but they did Halo. They got the Halo property and
Right, right, right.
they did a Halo miniatures game back in the day. And the models were really nice and I should have bought the hell out of it back in the day. Um, but you never really think about a company going out of business that quickly, especially a company like that. Spartan Games, I think, is what they were.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they had so many cool properties out. They had their Uncharted Seas, which was a Man of War style game. They had Firestorm Armada. They were doing Planet Fall. Like they just had some good properties out, and then just one day, poof, gone.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all that. And maybe because they spent so much money on that Halo property IP, and it didn't sell and it didn't work and things went sideways for them. But I kind of wish I would have bought up a bunch of that. Yeah, it can be said that all the different series that have characters and
The weird part is, in Starship Troopers the movie, they did not have power armor.
Mm-mm.
In the books they did, but not.
Yeah.
In the book they did, not in the real one.
Yeah, well, in the book it was. Yeah, well, we've talked about that.
Yeah, I think Terminators are drawn from that because they can be dropped from orbit.
Yeah, and the drop is actually pretty intense.
Yeah.
But the action in the book is very minimal. Most of the book is just about military life and more of a satire towards military life.
Yeah.
Anything. So cool stuff.
I think that's my favorite. The propaganda of being a citizen or not is, I think, my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so I've got these. I've got both. I got the expansion and the thing. So but I am gonna have to see if they have this in a PDF format. If they don't have it in a PDF format, I'm gonna cut the spines of.
Do a search. Do a search online. Somebody could have already taken and made a PDF online. You can download for free. I find that.
If they sell a PDF, I'd rather buy it from the company because it's a small group. So let me see.
Well, I don't mean they copied it and made a PDF. There's a lot of guys out there that will take that design and just make their own on Excel.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I mean, I found that when I was having trouble with 9th edition on all the stuff to keep track of every turn. Yeah. There was so much stuff. I just went 9th edition Space Wolf checklist, and like 6 of them came up where guys have already built them. So
yeah, I'll take a look. But I'm excited. Plus, Jason also 3D printed me a dice tower.
Ooh.
So first I gotta finish painting all of his Star Wars Legion stuff.
Well, I gotta set Don straight. Don, just because it goes straight to video does not mean it's bad.
No.
And sometimes bad is good.
Well, hey, nowadays it just goes straight to streaming.
Yeah.
And I think bad movies are the best. I've been watching some really horrific movies, and they're just so much fun. I think I've mentioned this, the old fantasy movies.
Yeah.
They're just so reminiscent.
We've talked about that many times.
Yeah, it's just so reminiscent that it's just like a D&D game. Like you just the bad acting and the whole 9 yards.
He doesn't like the straight to video Starship Troopers movie.
I don't care.
I like them. You turn me on them. I enjoy them. They're campy. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, see?
Yep.
It's on PDFs for you already.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
And David says he can make you an app.
Of course you can, David. I got complete confidence that you can. I will go to the War Game Vault and download the PDFs.
And Heron says Powered Armor Combat, the book Armor by John Stakely is well worth the read. Oh,
hey, did you see that new paint Darren brought in?
Which one?
The John Blanche series of paint.
I did, and unfortunately, he did. It's not a new line. It's Army Painter.
Right. It's just formulated colors.
Tell everybody it's a new line of paint. It's not a new line. It's just a paint set made by Army Painter with John Blanche.
Did you see the new line of paint, Darren?
He did, and unfortunately, he got what he originally ordered. He got 25% of. Because I pre-ordered 2 of each, and I'm not getting mine because of my agreement with Darren. But I will get them because the nice thing is they're not limited.
Right.
They're just part of the main range right now. But Army Painter released a signature series type paint set of John Blanche, which I think was brilliant. I will get the ones I ordered. I just have to wait until his second wave come in because he said less than 25% of his pre-order.
Well, I'm thinking that they got the original Goblin Green in. and we'll have to send Lenny a bottle.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll
Yeah,
probably.
no, I ordered 2 to keep my army painter set going. And
I don't know if they did Rotten Flush or not. I'm hoping they did. I didn't.
I went through the colors that they're doing. Amos and I have talked about it a couple times.
Okay.
They look like great colors, and I'm a John Blanche fan from way back. I mean, I wouldn't know who he was one for 40K.
Yeah. And again, I think that's all the paint. It's just a name on the paints. And I'm sure there was some, hey, I want to bring this color back, this color back.
Well, there's also, I think, a couple mixed colors that they worked with him that he wanted to see. But the thing I like about it, though, is it's not a limited release. It is actually just a regular product.
Yeah.
At this point. At least that's what I've heard, and that's why I think it's on. But I'm looking forward to it. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to pick that up. Just
well, they
nostalgia and appreciation.
Like with anything these days, they got shorted. So they allocated it out. So and it happens. Yeah. And but the nice thing is it'll eventually be back around. So.
We only scream about allocation when GW does it. When other people do it, we're okay.
Because GW is so large, they shouldn't have to.
Army Painter's still a small company.
They're still fairly small, and they've just launched an entire new paint line, and it's a much different scenario. GW's been around for a while. They have enough history to go, hey, we're launching this. How many should we make? And there's a process you can figure that out.
Well, they should also have the capital to do that.
They do.
Yeah. So they don't have the space to keep everything, but they have the capital to do it.
When you do what they do on a yearly basis, you can find the space.
Yeah. They're a big boy company. It's like I would hate one of these days we'll probably see GW do a Kickstarter and we'll all just lose it.
I mean, if you look at what Army Painter's been through, with their first attempt at speed paints, failing, and then completely reformulating their entire range. I'm more and more. It's kind of a habit thing. My Army painters are on this side of the table. My GW paints are here, and it's a habit for me just to go like this because I'm familiar with these paints because I use them for so long. To go this way, but I'm slowly coming over here and on the Army Painter side because they're really good paints. They paint really well. They flow really well off the brush. They go through an airbrush really well.
Right.
So I can understand why they may be short on the John Blanche sets. Plus, they had no history on how well that's going to go.
Yeah. Well, and Don's asking, what is John Blanche style? Is it limited to a paint palette, or is it a paint style or comic style?
There's just do a search online, Army Painter John Blanche set. There's a great video from Army Painter that talks about the colors and what they did and what they developed. My feeble brain will not allow me to recall those memories because I've seen it twice. It just go and take it out. But it's basically based on his style. There's some colors in it that are really cool. Just watch that video on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's really, really good.
I don't think he's a grim dark painter.
He's not. His style of art is just it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it's just old school.
Yeah.
Joe brings up a good point. When GW allocates, it's a limited release, and we never see it again. That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, the Army Painter contrast speed paints are just my favorite go-to.
They work really well, and I like the metallics too. I like them. They work
the speed paint metallics. It's kind of like the old Vallejo stuff. Like it's just good stuff. Good stuff.
And I just jumped into AKI's true acrylic paints.
Okay.
They work pretty well too. I like them. Okay.
Because you're doing your military stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to find the proper colors to do my IDF Team Yankee stuff.
Yeah.
And I finally landed. I'm talking to Mark Bradley, AFH, because he does a lot of military stuff.
A little bit.
So I wanted to make sure I had the right color. So he turned me on to the AKI, because the regular AKI stuff is it's almost an enamel base. It's not a true acrylic.
This is the true acrylic.
These are the true acrylics. They work just like regular, like Vallejo paints. And they're actually really nice. They work really, really well. And they dry brush real well too.
Don, just so you know, the speed paints, they put out a metallic range.
Yep.
Gold, silvers, bronzes, brasses, all of the metallics that you could possibly think of. they sell it as a small little box, or
Yep.
include if you bought the big, massive collection box of like 200 and something billion paints. It was included in that, but it is actually really good metallic speed paint for
Yeah.
speed paint.
And there's some really good tutorial videos online for how to use the metallics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I go with just put it on the model. It seems to work for me. Just straight out of the bottle. Like, well, I'm just saying, just straight out of the bottle. They've got like a dark metallic. They've got a light metallics. They've got a
yeah.
like a white silver or white gold. Like just different colors. They're just really cool.
What I meant wasn't a tutorial on how to use them, but like depending on your base coat will affect the metallic a little more than a regular contrast. And there's a video on how to get those effects and use that to your advantage.
It's actually a metallic. It's not. It doesn't mimic a metallic. It's actually a metallic. I think they just ground down the medium a lot better so that it's not thick and chunky and whatever magic that they did with the paint. It goes on nice. You get a little bit of edging, not a lot of edging. Kind of like the contrast in the speed paints.
Yeah,
and some of them are just terrible. Like some of them are like glossy. I've got this bronze copper, it's just real glossy, which I don't like using it, but okay. Like they're not all perfect. They're not all made the same. So just be careful. That's why we paint the caps.
Yeah, just go through and get a feel for them. But they work really well. And once again, speed paints, contrast paints are all the same theory, but they work a little differently. So just be careful with them. Just go through and as I always recommend, do a test model first or some kind of test to find out if it's going to be.
Just grab an old sprue, spray paint it down, and just start slapping some paint on the sprue because we all have tons of sprues laying around.
I have found that on a lot of the silvers, I will prime black and zenithal.
Yeah,
I'll dry brush some white back over it, and it gives me that nice little contrast that I need.
Metal colors are not metallics. I've always done true metallic metals. Yeah, you'll go to. I think I didn't check IOG stock, but just go to IOG. They'll have. It's just a little box set. Just get it. I don't know how much it costs. Money doesn't matter when it comes to paint. Just buy it.
The metallics are nice.
Yeah, they're just very reminiscent of the Vallejo thin metallics, the airbrush metallic. It's almost like an airbrush metallic. I guess that would be the best way to describe
it. But like anything, they take a little bit of use, time getting used to them, and we'll go from there.
So I remember when I was a kid. I don't remember when I was a kid. Some steel tester who used everything back then. Models, minis, really good paints. I don't know if they still make them.
They still make them.
Well, I don't know if the master metals, the master
model master's gone.
Yeah,
but they still have the original little square.
Oh yeah, they'll never get rid of those.
Which what most people don't realize is the paint in the model master bottles was the same as the paint in the tester bottles.
But when you put Model Master on it, you could charge more.
Well, they also were bigger bottles. They had more fluid ounces, but they were still they were.
I have a.
I have a ton.
Right here.
Yeah, I have a ton. I have a ton of the old. I have Model Master. I have old Poly S stuff lying about.
Yeah, I picked that up because I got it Hobby Lobby. And that's after I heard they were discontinuing the line, and I just wanted to try it out. It's neat. It works. It's paint.
I was hoping they'd be somewhere handy that I could just grab a bottle, but I got some old Poly S paints, which Poly S used to be my go-to paint before Citadel.
I think it was a lot of miniature painters back then because that was the model railroad stuff.
Yeah, I got some. They're back there. My wall back there. I have a lot of old Poly S paints. A lot of the old testers paints. I have some of their engine black for Poly S was really, really good. So.
Yeah. I still have models that I painted with testers. Yeah, old testers.
Testers
and the toothpicks. Yeah, baby.
Until I found Poly S, I used to do everything with testers and enamels. When I was back during the Raul Partha days.
How's so Sunday I went to the Gamers Garage Sale.
I heard it went well.
Gamers Garage Sale was I'm assuming was a big success. I don't know how to judge because I didn't stay the whole day. Wandered around, looked at a lot of people selling old projects. War Machine, about 20 plus years. Kador armed with tester enamels. Yeah, I think a lot of us did use that tester stuff. I didn't walk away with a whole. I walked away with nothing other than some rule books that I picked up.
Right.
From one guy, he had the D20 Munchkin series, so it's like a D&D ripoff. So you have a GM's guide, monster manual, and a player's guide, and it was based on Munchkin. I was like, oh, that could be interesting because I like Munchkin. So I picked that up, and then I bought something from the shop. Lots of people, not like the old crazy days. Like there was a good flow of people, I guess, in the morning time. I'll say that. Like it wasn't Disneyland crowded. It was new release movie crowded.
Yeah, the problem is that Darren ran into a problem with the management company, and you know, because literally when he would run the Games Garage show, the parking lot was packed.
Yeah,
you remember the day we did the show when there was a line out the door.
Yes,
and it's just he's had to adjust it and change it. And right after he ran into that problem, he kind of dropped it for a while because it's logistically difficult to manage as well.
Well, and Joe brought up a good point. It was on Sunday instead of Saturday, so that was like we were there kind of early. And first of all, Joe, it was good to see you in person. You have lost a lot of weight. Congratulations! It was nice to see. You. Like to see you getting healthy. But it was Sunday morning, and like we were hanging out, and the line was pretty long, but it wasn't like wrapped around the building type crazy. But when it opened, it was a good flow, and people kept coming. So I think like Sundays are just those days. People got other things. It's family time. 81 pounds. Congratulations.
Good job, bud.
But it was a good flow. Lots of good stuff. Miniatures, like a lot of miniatures, board games. Like the main shop was full, or the gaming area. Every table was full. There was tables outside. Got to see Timmy.
Hey, Timmy.
Showing off some stuff. Almost bought a Bane blade. This close to buying a Bane blade. I'm like, what am I going to do with it? Nothing. So it's just a Bane blade.
That's never stopped you before.
No. So good day. Lots of cool stuff. I will say one thing though, and I heard people talking about it, and it kind of made me go, huh, this is an interesting point moving forward when buying a used army. I was looking around, I was just at a table, some guys were talking, and they mentioned how like a lot of the stuff was 3D printed. I was like, I didn't even think about that. Like how many people are selling armies with scanned copy 3D printed models, and you're not going to know the difference.
Sure.
And it's like one of those, you better be careful what you're picking up. And the only reason I say this, and it's not like 3D printing's cool and I get it and I understand it, but if you're selling an army to somebody, like a painted army, and you know you have 3D printed products in that, morally, should you tell the buyer what is 3D printed and what is not? And the only reason I say that is someone could be buying that army to play in competitions at GW events. And if you have 3D printed stuff in there and you didn't tell that person, they get kicked out of an event. Is that fair? Like,
yeah, it's gotten to be, it kind of falls in the same line because you and I have been doing this so long.
Yeah.
We were playing long before 3D printing.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of goes along the same lines as commission painters. Because it's one of those things where the hobby for us has always been, as Jake and Dave say, it's been build, you paint, you play.
Right.
And 3D printing has become so commonplace and so prolific in the industry. I don't think people think about it now because the gamers that are playing now have no idea how it used to be, that 3D printing is just something everybody does.
Yeah.
But I agree with you because the must be GW models is only true at GW events. I haven't heard of them forcing any other events to do that.
Right.
But it is something you need to tell them that you need to be aware.
Yeah. I think there's a moral obligation. Now, like, hey, look, this is my army. Most of this is GW, but like it's kind of like China cast back in the day.
Yeah.
But this, and this is 3D printed. Like this is a 3D printed shoulder pads. Like you just need to let them know. You got to disclose if you're 3D printing, if you're selling a painted army. Now, if it's not painted and people can obviously tell, you don't need to say anything.
Yeah.
You might want
Yeah.
to mention like, hey, you know, most of this is 3D. And then the other question comes up: what's the value of 3D printed models? Like, honestly, if someone 3D prints an army and it's not painted, it's like primed and zenithal, maybe some washes or stuff. Does that hold the same value as anything like a GW? Even what's the value of something that has been 3D printed, and how do you price something like that?
Well, 3D printing is a lot cheaper,
right?
But you're going. I guarantee you, they're charging prices for painted or unpainted models as if they bought them from GW or whoever.
And that raises a moral.
And that is another one. But but again, it boils back to the something's only worth what someone's willing to pay.
Right.
And I'm in the same camp. I think you and I are the odd man out on this, because the internet has generated a culture that best price is where their mindset's at, and they don't think that way.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because I mean, it took me a while to get to the point on commission painting, because commission painting became an issue where a lot of people were like, well, you didn't paint that, which is one of the reasons why when I would do the OG, I just made it player's choice.
Right.
It was like, what army do you prefer the look of?
Sure.
And it wasn't the best solution. But I say that doing commission work myself. But it's just so people will pay to have it painted. People will pay to have it printed, or pay to have it printed. And it's just a culture shift. But I'm in the same camp as you are on the 3D printing. You need to let them know.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to sell it with an army as if the army is I bought this from GW, I spent time assembling it, blah blah blah, and you're charging the same price, there's some question there.
Yeah, I could see if it's fully painted, it's painted at a high level, and you're like, hey, a lot of this stuff is 3D printed, just want to let you know, but it's painted really nice. Then you're paying for the paint job. But just the 3D printing value is just not there. And Heron brings up a good point. It's best to disclose. I guess it happens in the action figure, which I could see that happening in the action figure world. But yeah, so hey, just something that popped up. I didn't even think about it. I was looking around at tables of models. People had models out, painted, unpainted. Didn't really even cross my mind to even ask about 3D printed models. I just heard some guys talking, and he was like, yeah, it's a really great army, but a couple of the main characters were 3D printed. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, it's something I've been doing because John Matthews and I are still conversating, and probably right now we're planning on going in November this year to the Chaos Cup down in Miami, or Orlando. I forget where it's at, but it's down in Florida. And we're going to spend a weekend down there to play.
There's alligators down there. Be careful.
Yeah. Okay. There's alligators everywhere.
According to the show I watched during the week, yes, there are.
But one of the things I was looking at, because I have a Punga miniatures team and I have a GW team,
right?
Which is why I have a Norse team that's made from Punga, and I have a Chaos Dwarf team from Punga. But I also have a painted Norse team, and I own the GW actual Chaos Dwarf. Haven't painted it yet. And here's the other problem, though: I can't get my Bull Centaurs yet because they're still in stock. So, but I was looking at, is it going to be required that it's GW only models? Because that's Chaos Cup is one of the larger NAF sponsored tournaments for Blood Bowl. So,
yeah, I don't know if they do require. I don't think they do. If it's,
I haven't seen anything that says they do. But I'm going just on the safe side. I'm taking both teams.
There you go. And that's a good alternative. Take both.
Yeah.
But if people are selling, I guess that's something you got to think about now. Is if you're buying an army and someone's charging like GW used prices, and you find out a lot of it's 3D printed, is that hold that value? And I would say no. 3D printing, depending what kind of resin they use, could have an effect on the quality of the models. Like, there's a lot of little factors that could go into that 3D printed model. And it's like, why am I paying GW prices for something you printed off the?
Yeah. The biggest one for me is it's pennies compared to dollars.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a 3D printed army, you're paying much less. And it's not that I think you shouldn't charge what they're willing to pay,
right?
But you should be letting them know it's a 3D printed
army. Yeah.
And but I think you and I have become, we're the odd man out. We're in the minority of that opinion now, because I think back to, well, I don't think, I very rarely run into anybody that started playing 40K anymore during Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
I don't really, and if I do, they don't play anymore. So.
Well, and I like the hobby side of things. So I do like buying models, putting models together. I get the 3D printing stuff. I got 3D printed stuff. I'm not saying, but I wouldn't try to sell the stuff I have 3D printed for like some sort of crazy retail price unless I put a lot of effort into the painting of it. And you're paying for my paint job, not for the model itself.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's a cost. I mean, we had an issue that you remember at the OG once about a commission paint.
Yeah.
Here's the thing for me is it's just become part of what it is. And I can rail against it. Or I can just, hey, I want to have some kind of painting competition because I'm a painter.
Right.
And but I didn't go with where we have judges that look at how well they're painted, because we're not judging that person's painting, but just saying, hey, pick the one you like the best.
Yep.
And then I leave it between the owner of the army and the person that painted it, because I personally feel I don't care, but I feel if you have an army that you didn't paint and it wins an award, that award should go to the guy that painted it.
Yeah. Or recognition. If I hired you to paint my army, right, and I won an award, I would like to, hey, this was painted by the Wolf's Den, or whatever. I don't know your commission painting.
Old Wolf Studios.
Old Wolf Studios. Sorry. You should at least recognize it. So that way, if somebody else is like, well, I really like that, I want to hire this person. Like, you should. Yeah.
I have guys that I painted for that have won awards, and I don't care. I'm not going to be like, that's my award. I'm not really about entering in the competitions unless I am entering it myself.
Right.
And then it's like, ooh, look at that.
I guess we'll just have to say 3D printing is now part of the landscape.
It is. It's just part, and the culture is different.
Yeah, and you're just going to have to understand that if you buy a used army, you're going to have to ask. It's going to be like buying a used car. Does the transmission?
Don't talk about buying a used car. That's a nightmare.
But it is. It's like buying any. You're going to have to ask certain questions.
Absolutely.
And now you have to trust the person you're buying it from.
Yeah.
Right. Because at one point we could, there's recasting. There's always been recasting, but the numbers of recasting, it was always small. But now 3D, I could just go buy one and start printing today. Like 3D printing is a lot more relevant and a lot easier to do, and the files are all over the place. And GW can't control. Nobody can control it.
Yeah. The part that I have zero problem, because Amos and I are always. Well, actually, Amos sends more to me than I send to him, but Amos always sends me links to custom 3D printed Space Wolf characters.
Sure.
But they look nothing like the models GW produces. Those are easy to spot. You can notice them right away if you're a fan of whatever army it happens to be. The ones that make me really crazy are the guys that will scan an existing model and then make an STL and print that.
Yeah.
That's a completely different kettle of fish.
Right. And it's out there. It's all over the place.
That's pirating, and that.
A lot of people don't look at it. It's just like the old Napster stuff. People didn't look at it.
Right? That's the culture shift. There's a lot of people out there that 3D printing is a tool we can use, or we're just going to use it, and it doesn't, because they don't understand the work that goes in to that design and everything else.
But GW is a big evil corporation, and I don't, blah 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 but you know what? They're the ones that are keeping your hobby alive. So. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, it was an observation from the Gamers Garage Sale. Wonderful time. Really appreciate it. Got to see Darren, got to see Bo, got to see Philip, Timmy, Joe.
Phil. I wish I'd have been out there to say hi to Phil. I haven't talked to him in forever.
Dude, he's got the undercut. He has a long hair.
Yeah.
He's the one he lives out in Surprise, where I'm at.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that's so he mentioned, I'm just going to share with everybody now, there's going to be a new game store opening in Surprise.
Right.
It's called Hero Forge Studios. And after the Gamers Garage sale, we went and took a look at it. It's going to be about 128th Avenue in Bell, which we like to consider the old town site. This is like the lower rent area part of it's just the original town site. It's lower rent. Little game store though. I'm talking single strip mall. Think of the Academy being completely square because the Academy is kind of no, I think the Academy, yeah,
It's kind of
the
rectangular.
front of the Academy is kind of weird, but think of it just as a straight, small, narrow strip mall. They're gonna have like I think we saw 3 tables inside of it, like, and they weren't even game tables. They weren't 4x8 game tables. They were like kitchen tables. Recast. I have some recast metal, Diaz Demonettes.
Mm-hmm.
They're released for a limited time in some years. Yeah.
GW recasting
is out there. It's just not as prevalent.
GW recasting their stuff is perfectly fine.
It's the pirate.
It's their stuff.
But yeah, so a little game store. Went, took a look through the windows. No opening date, nothing like that. Not even a hey, we're gonna be there in a couple of years or a couple months. Nothing at all. The only thing, a lot of the usual stuff. Gonna be some GW stuff. Gonna be some of this. They had like Flashpoint, some GW stuff. The one thing that kind of got me excited, they had Dead Man's Hand, which is Great Escape Games, which is an Old West game. So maybe they're going to carry some unique stuff that we don't normally see at a lot of game stores. We'll see. Dead Man's Hand is a kind of unique one to bring into your store. It's not wildly popular, but they could also just be fanboys of that particular game. So we'll see. Right. What did David say?
David, we're not talking about owning 3D models, and I get what you're saying. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think what Mike and I were touching base on is if you ever try to sell those, just let the guy know you're selling them to because 3D printed.
Yeah, and that's the only reason. And I'm only saying that mainly because you don't know what the person's going to do with that army, and if they end up going to a GW event and get booted because there's a 3D printed model, that's just kind of
having something for your own collection just because you want it or can't find it anymore. That's actually one thing. But if you're going to 3D print the army, then you're going to sell it and present it as if it's a GW army or something like that. Because a lot of people don't pay attention to that. Just let them know it's 3D printed.
Yeah. Well, because it's so commonplace. It's just part of the landscape now.
Hey, Jake.
Yay.
Is it time to sign off? Jake's on.
No, yeah, it must be time to go. We haven't even done pictures yet. So Jake will actually get to see pictures. So
all of our pictures today, by the way, are 3D printed.
So this is a little game store. It's called Hero Forge Games. Don't know when it's opening. Looks like just a little tiny game shop, a little mom and pop shop type vibe to it. So we'll see how it does. We've had other games. We had another game shop in the City of Surprise. It did not last very long, a couple years, and then it went out of business.
Unless it's opening here in Maryland, within a decent driving distance for me, I don't give a rat's ass. Jake is a harbinger of he finally went back to his mohawk. I felt the world was right once again.
I'm going with the 70s feathered hair look. So
Jake, I'm used to seeing Jake with his mohawk, and he had let it go. He looked like an old man.
Well, we are old men.
Well, I commented on his picture. I said, you look like you were a victim of a transporter accident and got split into 2 people, one good, one evil. And then I put up a picture of from The Enemy Within, which is a Star Trek episode where Kirk gets split into a good and evil version of himself. Yep. Talk about bad TV.
So we went and checked that out. I also took Jason over to Gamers Guild.
Yeah.
The new one off of 19th and Bell. He hadn't been there. Jason doesn't get out as much as I do, I guess.
Well, you are a social butterfly.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Social Butterfly. As long as your butterfly is grumpy. But took him over there. That's about all I have to say about that. Nothing exciting. Yeah. I think he bought a paintbrush, and that was about the end of it because we didn't know how much it was because there was no prices on anything. But it's nice to go out and see what's out there.
Who was blaspheming?
Probably me going to Gamers Guild. But I took him up there to check it out. Sunday morning, nothing going on over there.
I do the same thing.
So many places I didn't know about. Oh, well, I'm glad I can share. That's why you come to the What's New with Mike and Jeff show. We talk about everything.
I remember when I lived in Columbus, there was a hobby shop I worked at, and then there was a store called the Drowsy Dragon.
What a name!
It was a great name. There's this gigantic handmade wooden carved sign of a sleeping dragon called the Drowsy Dragon. And I lived in Columbus for a long time, and Columbus had a little Star Trek get together, kind of I'd call it a convention, but it was such a small venue, more like a get together. And I came across this sign that said game shop, and it had the address, and I'm like, there's this fantastic game shop called the Guard Tower in Columbus. I've never heard of it. And I was literally less than 10 miles from the place. Never heard about it. So
Jake wants me to get out to Alpha Omega Hobby. I would love to get out to Alpha Omega Hobby.
I'm
the AOH in the house.
I am planning on making that trip this probably late spring, early summer on the motorcycle. I want to take a trip to Maine. So I'm going to on the bike and make a drive. So I'll probably be swinging by at that point in time.
Well, Jason and I planned our trip to Indianapolis. So I'm taking 3 weeks off in July, August to go to Gen Con.
Right.
We're going out early for a week because we got to build platforms because last year was a disaster. They kept kicking us off the loading dock. So we're making platforms with wheels so that we can just pull everything out.
Oh, because it took you so long to get everything out of the thing?
Yeah, they didn't like the fact that it took us 3 hours to unload our truck or load our truck. So they want you out in an hour. We didn't have that problem the first year. So we had that problem the second year. So we're coming up with a solution. Anyway, we were talking about what we're going to do on our way back. And we haven't decided what trips we're going to take going back yet.
Ooh, I've got an invitation to hang out at Dave's place.
What's that?
Dave said if I'm ever in, I believe it's Missouri. Emo's Missouri, yes.
It's not Montana.
No, Montana. Yeah, no. I think the M states abbreviations mess with my head.
Yeah.
But no, I actually absolutely if I'm ever passing through. So, yeah. But for me, from Maryland, Boston, Connecticut, Boston area is a 6-7 hour drive.
Well, we're going to be across the continent, so we could swing over to AOH. And
where are you going to be?
Well, we're going to go to Indianapolis, so we can.
Yeah, you're still you're still 600 miles away.
We got a week to drive back home.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I made it from Elkton, Maryland to Seattle, Washington in 2.5 days, and almost died.
Well,
that was the hard part.
I think that's going to be the only way I'm going to get out there.
Yeah,
but it would be worth it.
Well, according to rumor, a buddy of mine and yours is going to be flying out here sometime in June. So. Big D.
Oh, Big D.
My kids have not seen their Uncle Darren in forever.
Oh, going out to Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You can't call him Big D anymore.
He's still taller than me.
Dude, midgets are taller than you.
I'm 6'1". If you didn't wear your platform shoes, you wouldn't be 6 foot.
Yeah, Jake, I'll have to get out there one day.
He's never going to get out there, Jake, ever. Don't let him kid you.
It would have to be a special trip. Because where's it at again?
Boston.
You're not saying it. Boston.
It's a fairly new city. Hasn't been around very long.
No. I'm just trying to think. What else could I do in Boston to just?
There's a ton. The East Coast is full of historical sites, museums, game shops. The number of game shops between here and there are huge.
Yeah, they're more condensed. We'll have to see. Anywho, well, that's cool. Big D's gonna come.
Don't get your hopes up, Jake. He's not coming.
Oh, Culture Festival going on today and tomorrow. Steel Indian School. Sweet.
You can tell that you've lived your entire life in Arizona because you think outside the borders of Arizona, there's nothing.
Pretty much.
Nobody does anything. And you live in a desert, which one day is going to ignite in a big ball of fire.
Dude, winter's already. I did yard work yesterday. which
I
is
do.
uncommon for me to do in February.
But
Like
I live in New
usually
York. I
everything's
don't
still
have to be New York.
hibernating and everything's growing. I'm like,
We're
this is gonna
I'm
be a miserable summer.
I'm freezing my rear end off up here. It's been like in the low 30s to high 20s.
David, there's a little village about 2 hours south of
Yeah, I hear it's an up and coming place. Um,
I love my territory. I'm a territory guy.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yes. Sorry, I don't think
But it's got casinos, so everything's cool.
it's the new world. It's the new territory.
Yeah. Now the only complaint I have about Boston, because I've been there many times,
I hear it snows,
it does snow. It can snow.
so that might be why.
Driving in Boston is a nightmare because any road, trail, or cow path, as the city grew, they paved it.
Yeah.
So there's no rhyme or reason. And so and then you have New Jersey, which is not legal to make a left turn.
Yeah.
Every intersection, almost every intersection, is a cloverleaf. Even in cities, it's insane. It drives me nuts.
David said he's safe from the heat death. Yes. Joe spent an hour shoveling the sunshine from his driveway. Yeah. Breaking out the part out. Yes.
Yeah. And
maybe I block all that stuff out because I'm originally from Michigan, but I was 5 when my parents moved.
Why do I talk to you?
And like all that cold stuff, I've just kind of like blocked out of my memory. Like, ooh, cold.
Well, Jake's not kidding. It's not driving in Boston is not for the timid.
No.
I used to joke that what they did, the city planner, what they did was they took a ball of yarn and they kind of unraveled it and they threw it on a topographical map of where they wanted to put Boston. And wherever there was a strip of yarn, they built a road.
Someone spilled spaghetti noodles on the ground. Go, hey, that'd make a great pathway.
And I get it because the city is one of the first cities in the country, and it's big and it's beautiful, and I love going there. And Massachusetts is one of the favorite places I used to go camping. But driving in Boston, you have to have some grit.
Yeah, I don't get out much, so.
But I'm planning on making that trip on the motorcycle, which means I will probably die because driving in Boston on a motorcycle is not fun either.
Victor, thank you very much. I'm glad we're your super friendly, wacky friends. Should we look at
see some pictures?
Yes, let's look at a thing you did.
Well, it's not till the end. I'm lucky I got these damn things up today.
Hey, it's called a teaser.
I was having an issue with Discord this morning, but I got them done.
Yes.
Amos. Now you'll notice because there's a picture that Amos posted before these that I was struggling getting from Discord, but I finally got it.
Yes, I love his.
He built some rocks. He built some asteroids.
Yeah, baby. Oldest city never burned down. All right, but wasn't there something about a tea party in Boston? I heard about. I don't know.
Yeah, they had a problem with that.
There was some tea issue. A shortage of tea or something. I don't remember what happened. It was so long ago. I love the rocks. I love what Amos is doing here.
A bunch of angry men dumped tea off a ship into the bay. They were angry.
One of the things about
meteors are fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the things about Void Admiral is you do need to get some little fighter ships if your models of the fleet you're playing has fighter ships. So
do you know why I will probably never really get into this game?
Why?
They don't have Thunderhawks.
Yeah, they do.
No, Thunderhawks were unique to Battlefleet Gothic, and they act as a fighter and a bomber and a troop transport.
Yeah, all you gotta do is make one.
Yeah, that's true. Very good. I have a bunch actually.
Victor said he had surgery on his fingers. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. At least you have
surgery. I have no idea. Well, I hope you're okay, bud.
Yeah.
Anyway, more ships of the picture of the asteroid.
Yeah, loving it.
Look really good, by the way. I hadn't actually seen these pics before.
Got a little bit of I don't know if it's the lighting or what, but there's like a brown tint to them, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Instead of just gray.
And then there's his big,
Look at all that.
here's his
Look
big
at,
feet.
those are his fighter ships.
Yep,
Those
and
are awesome.
this is the picture I was having a hard time getting my hands on this morning.
Yeah, love
And
it.
all of Joe's were, I struggled with all of Joe's, but I finally got those too. So
Oh wow.
I don't know what was going on.
No function aerospacecraft.
Multi-functional.
Oh, multifunction. I'm sorry.
You need these.
I know. I just don't like wearing them on camera. I feel like there's a glare in my eyes.
There's a guy I know that anytime I say something like that to him, he goes, "Step out of your comfort zone.
I know.
Take care of yourself."
Well, I go in May to get my eyes re-examined because these aren't even helping anymore. So getting old, buddy.
You only have two eyes, man.
I know.
Take care of them.
I know.
But yeah, good. These are nice ships. I like
I
them.
love
They
it.
look great.
I love it. I love what he's doing. I can't wait. Oh, whoop, whoop, whoop.
I believe this is Dave Hummel's.
This is his other project.
Well, it's not his other. I believe it's the entryway to his hobby room, if I read his caption correctly.
Is it like a hidden passage?
I it's in the basement.
Okay. Oh, I see the stairs in the background. Okay.
Yeah, and he comes in the basement. I think you have, and I'm massively jealous because I want something like that before I enter my studio because I don't have that. Some augments.
Yeah.
Yes, he's talking about you getting cyber eyes.
I know. Well, I have I have astigmatism, so my eyes are oval or something like that.
Yeah.
They're just getting more oval. They're looking like eggs. But this is cool. I love his little entrance.
Subtle subject change. I like how you did that. Oh, I almost didn't notice.
Didn't notice.
And there's some of Joe's. More Joe stuff. Looking good.
Iron Rangers. Love them. Love the Iron Rangers, Joe. Downstairs next to my library.
Hang on a minute. I understand that is a woman. I got that part. I was talking about the studio. Walking through bar. Yeah, never mind.
Joe's been cranking on some Iron Rangers. Very cool.
There we go. It's downstairs.
David, I love the
library, which leads to
your
the
hobby room. I think it's awesome. Very cool stuff.
It's very cool.
Thank you for sharing.
More cool. The Iron Rangers.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The best use of Aberlent Sunset.
Yes.
Nurgle.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff.
Love me some Nurgle. These are cyber. I always get this mixed up. It's either cyberpunk or.
I believe they're both very cool.
Yeah. Love the Mohawk. It's a different type of Mohawk. That's the big spike Mohawk.
Yep.
Very cool stuff. Love the dude shooting to the sides.
Some of Tim's new 15 mil stuff.
Yep, War Master. He's got some works in progress. I know I'm supposed to post those things.
I like that he put the clips in for scale.
What's that?
I like that he put the clips in for scale. To let us know just how tiny these things are.
Iron Man Rangers. Iron Man Rangers. You need to do an Iron Man Ranger for your army, Joe. That would be epic. There's some scale for you.
Yeah, tiny stuff.
10 mil, I think, is what War Master is.
Yeah, I believe it's 10.
Yeah. Look at that. Prime black, dry brush white, pull out the detail, done.
There you go.
I can't even see those.
They're harpies.
Not herpes.
They look like harpies.
Yeah, there you go.
Trolls.
Trolls.
Not the internet kind.
The blue
fantasy kind.
These are the Smurf trolls.
They're blue.
They're blue. It's not easy being blue.
It's not.
Hellhounds?
Some kind of hellhounds.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to town on this War Master stuff.
Yeah, looks good.
And
Ogres?
Maybe?
Yeah.
Trogoth.
Trogoth. Oh,
Yeah, he's got a Chaos Army. I think last week we saw dwarf stuff.
Chariotes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
This is some of the kill team terrain I've been working on.
Very cool. Smurf Trolls give a little white. Yes. Yeah. Dragon Ogres. All right. That's what those were.
I was feeling really upbeat. That's why this one says we're already dead. And this one says death awaits.
There you go. Getting a little rust and grime going on. What are you doing? Is this for commission work or is this personal?
Yeah, this is part of a kill team commission I'm working on. I just did knocked out some terrain for him.
Is this something specific for a team or
no, it's the latest kill team set that they put out with the I don't even remember the names of them. It's for
I love the little flashes of red that you got going on.
Yeah, I took some Army Painter dried blood.
Okay.
And just kind of splattered it on there here and there. Yeah. Just to give it some
So for anybody that ever says Jeff doesn't know how to do grime, there it is. Prove that theory wrong. Jeff does grime just fine.
I just choose not to.
Yes, because all his stuff is fresh off the factory floor.
Well, like now, if you look at the last couple pieces I did, my repulsor has some damage and some sparks.
A little bit. You did a little bit.
My Chapman has muddy tires and some mud splash up on the hood.
I was very proud of you.
I normally don't like to do it.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. The Grim Dark is not for everybody.
Nope.
There's got to be a light in the Grim Dark. Is that the barbed wire stuff? Yeah.
Barbed wire obstacles.
Yeah, very cool.
Between Dirty Down and the new Army Painter rust effects, doing rust has become so easy.
Yeah. You need to do another door that reads, "You'll be sorry." Look at that. Very fun, easy. Terrain's one of those projects that sometimes it's just fun to crank out terrain. Like I had a blast just cranking out stuff yesterday.
A lot of different scatter terrain. I've got some more here that I'm finishing up.
Ooh,
little transmitters,
little command stands.
Yep.
Something. What was that? The Wolf Spear chapter serves carry buffing cloth and wax.
They do. Where other chapters have an oath of moment, we have the moment of cleaning.
There you go.
We have to clean our armor and make sure it's nice and pristine before it goes in. So,
hey, wolves clean themselves all the time. Why can't you
have that conversation?
I just picture you guys out there licking their arms, licking them.
We're moving on.
Some smoke.
Little toxic clouds.
Little smoke break.
And I believe after this one is the thing I did this week.
The thing.
I think after this one. Nope. Oh, I forgot about that. My Team Yankee Markava, which means chariot.
Looks very nice, very Team Yankee-ish. Little dirty, not too dirty.
Yeah, just enough dust and weathering on it to
well, they do run in a desert, so dirt's pretty common.
Did the AKI base coats on that. It's kind of a triad of colors. I got them right here, and then I did a burnt sienna black oil wash over it.
Okay.
And then I hit it with some AK dust effects on the tracks and the skirting and some other areas. Found a great new way to do because one of the problems with the scale using metallic like a silver on these guns is just too much. So I did it in a basalt gray with a thin down flat black wash. And that gives me that nice blued gun look.
Vallejo used to make a metallic black that I used to love for guns.
Yeah.
But they stopped making it for some reason.
But yeah, in this game, Team Yankee, this is a beast.
Yeah.
This tank is unbelievable. And it's so unbelievable that it costs so many points to get it into a 100-point game is difficult.
Are those decals for the V or did you hand paint them?
The V is a decal. I hand painted that. That's indicating that this is my command vehicle.
Okay.
And I don't like putting. I'm a tanker. If everybody complains when you make your Marines without a helmet, they give you a hard time about it.
Right.
I don't mind that. However, being a former tanker, tankers tank commanders do not sit with their head sticking out the turret during combat. It
No.
just doesn't happen.
But in the game, rule mechanic wise, you was one of the ways to indicate your command tank.
That was a command tank. I just put the white stripe on the barrel for the Israelis because that's something that they do. That'll signify to me which is my command vehicle.
Very nice.
But there he is.
Love your tank.
I love this vehicle. This vehicle is a beast.
A lot of dry brushing.
A lot of dry brushing. I airbrushed it first, and then kind of hit some highlights. And then after the oil wash, then I sealed it, and then I hit it with a really light dry brush of what was it called? It's AK's IDF Early Sand Yellow.
Okay, there you go.
And that was where my highlights are. And then I put a little bit of blue on all the periscopes. Drilled out the barrel as you do. So
gotta drill the barrel.
This is my one of the things I'm working on between projects, along with I'm still continuing with my Wolf Spear.
Are you guys playing at the office?
Team Yankee?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be playing a guy named Nate who used to work at Battlefront. He's now working somewhere else, but I'm building this for he and I to get together. And Amos just picked up Team Yankee British. And for those of you who are familiar with Team Yankee, the best way to describe it is Team Yankee is the Cold War of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s goes hot.
Yeah.
That's it. So there's a lot of modern vehicles.
I like to refer to it as sci-fi.
It is. It's an art and history game.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in the game that didn't exist during that period of time, which still keeps its foot firmly planted in the historical venue.
Yeah. But it's because you're dealing with very modern tanks that have a lot of shooting power. It's
yeah.
And the game, it's card driven. It's a little bit different. I don't know if it's still card driven, but it's a little bit.
It's not card driven. You just have reference cards for
reference cards, which makes building your army and playing the game a little bit easier because you can just lay out your reference cards.
And it's definitely a Flames of War style game. It's definitely a historical game, but it's an era that, quite frankly, everybody thought something bad would happen. It just got avoided, but it goes up to, this is the Merkaba 3, which is a completely different turret than a Merkaba 1, Merkaba 2. And it's a tank I've always had an odd passion for, being a former tanker in the fact of how it was developed and what exactly this thing can do. And it's just a great vehicle.
Are you doing infantry for your army, or are you just
I'm doing the full army. Yeah, I've got infantry, aircraft. They have U.S. Apaches in it, and they have, actually, the other nice thing about this particular army, it has equipment from pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
It's across. I mean, it's got some Centurions available to it. It's got some in vehicles they developed themselves. It's got some Soviet-based vehicles, and I say Soviet because it happens during the Cold War. So the Soviet Union is a real thing. But it's a lot. The game's a lot of fun to play, and I'm kind of digging the Merkaba. So
yeah. And then Aaron's talking about the old patent tank from Monogram having Israel decals.
Yeah, they have a lot of. I mean, the Israelis made the Sherman effective. Yeah. So anyway, and then I did a thing.
You did a thing. Let's see the thing you did.
Hang on a minute. I forgot. I went and got that thing. Give me a second.
Oh, you didn't put it in the.
I didn't. I opened this show. I did not reopen the show.
Got it.
So no.
You just got to do it a little differently.
Yeah, because I'm stupid.
No, you're not. Don't say that.
A little bit.
Don't say that.
I'm a little bit thick.
You're just stubborn.
Early onset dementia. I think it's the proper diagnosis. All right. Let's try this again, so I can say I can now say I did a thing.
Jeff did a thing. Let's do a drum roll.
Did a thing. Ta-da!
Voila! Look at that thing.
It's a curio cabinet that I had to do custom lighting for.
Yeah.
And you can see that one of my lights didn't work. I had to go back in and refix the bottom half of that light. But I was looking for something new space-wise. So I had to go through, see if I can get a good zoom going here. I can't read. I need glasses. It's just under 6 foot tall. And 5 shelves. I haven't put anything in the bottom one yet. And the cabinets open up and slide back.
Is it a glass front? Or
it is okay. Let me be completely. It looks very cool, and I like what I have. It serves the purpose, but it is the cheapest built piece of furniture I have ever bought. You get what my dad used to like tell me. You get what you pay for,
right?
And it was cheap. It was in my price range, and it took forever to get here because I almost forgot that I ordered it. But it's made of bamboo. It does not have glass. It has plexiglass.
There you
go. And they basically built the individual components with the plexiglass in place. And you know how plexiglass comes with that film over it?
Yep.
That is the mask they use for painting it. So what you get is it looks like the glass has been painted black when you get it till you peel off that stuff, and the glass is real thin. It is really, really, it will probably not survive a move, to be honest with you.
I built something similar for Gamelin when we moved his shop, where same kind of concept, like just particle board, plexiglass.
I would kill if this was particle board.
Well, chipboard or whatever
I know what you're talking about, which is much stronger than bamboo.
Okay.
I have to. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, that is not too much weight, but I have some resin stuff. Like for example, my large orc on board.
Yeah.
I would not put that in this case.
Okay.
Along with anything else.
Your confidence level is low.
Yeah, it's just I don't want it. It does what it has to do there. So.
It's a chore to find good display cabinets that fit.
It is. And I had to pick the lesser of two evils. I could go with Amazon or Temu, and I've yet to buy anything. I'm just every time I go to see something on Temu that's advertised, and I go to take a look at it, they want me to download the app, and I just don't want to download the app, and so I went to Amazon and found that, and I didn't read the reviews, and I don't think there are any positive reviews. Because it is cheaply made. It looks good on the floor. It looks good in there, but it's just very, 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 very flimsy. But it serves a purpose because I had run out of room to put my display models in when they're done being painted. So I had models piling up because I'd run out of space. And even though I'm saying it's cheap, and I'm not recommending anybody buy it unless they know what they're getting into, I'm probably going to buy a second one.
Well, and you're only putting miniatures on it. So you're not going to be putting heavy stuff on it that you know. So the models that you have on there might weigh 2 pounds. So it's not going to break the shelf.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about that. It serves the purpose of holding your painted models, which is all you're really after.
Yep. So and the lighting kit that I bought for it, and it's not a lighting kit that was designed for that. It's a lighting kit that I had to custom fit to that. The lighting kit was only $30.
There you go. So the lighting kit is probably better built than the cabinet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so it's on Amazon. I can send you a link if you want it, but understand it was under $200, and you're getting what you pay for. It will serve a purpose, and it's not hard to build. It's just not. It's not. Quite frankly, it's not as nice as the actual looks in the picture.
Yeah. Well. I don't think you have an IKEA close by.
I have one about 70 miles away.
Okay. Yeah.
I could go, but again, it was also the decision was also made by budget. It was I just couldn't afford to spend a ton of money.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate IKEA got rid of the really cool display cabinets that everybody loved. Yeah, they're good all around, but paying to ship and transport.
Yeah. I don't have the problem Darren has on IKEA.
What's that?
In Montana, he's got to drive into Utah.
Oh God, he's got to go to a whole other state.
Yeah, to get to a decent IKEA. So
I don't think that's within his 50-mile delivery radius.
No. So,
my whole desk setup is IKEA.
Yeah. So. I don't do a lot with IKEA. I do a lot. I don't like doing Amazon just because it's Amazon.
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to go, yeah, I'm going to do that. So
Just depends on what you're looking for.
yeah, I'm trying to find the zoom feature so I can zoom in, but I can't.
I can't help you with that.
Wait. There it is. But yeah. So I have my wolf spirit at the top, my towel, my League of Vogue. I told you earlier.
Boy, that was such a slip up.
You should hear me talk to my kids. I sound like I have dementia. I really do. So my Votan, my original Space Wolf Army, and then my really original Space Wolf Army.
And what's the bottom shelf reserved for?
I haven't figured that part out yet.
Okay. But you're talking about getting one of those for Man of War?
I may get another one of these to display all my Man of War stuff. And it'll be my Man of War stuff and probably my Marvel United stuff as well.
There you go. David, Amazon's kind of hit and miss with quality and cost. Yeah, it's just a matter of whatever.
Well, it used to be Amazon. You order it, you get it quickly, and the price was right. I've been going on for supplies. Like I was looking for some AK paints, AK Interactives, and they were like double retail.
Yeah,
I mean, they weren't. I mean, I don't mind paying normal retail ordering online, and occasionally you can find it below. But I'm not paying double retail for something from a store. But they have it, and their shipping is hit or miss anymore.
Yeah.
So I now am planning on just, if I needed to buy a significant number of supplies, I'm not going to go online. I'm just going to either drive up to Bear, Delaware, and get it from the hobby town, or drive down to Games and Stuff down in Baltimore, down in Glen Burnie.
Heron said, my whole desk setup is wherever my parents got it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's I'd love to have an old wooden desk for a setup. Very cool one. All right. Well, very cool. I'm glad you did a thing.
I did a thing.
Yeah, did a thing. I still don't have a display for my miniatures, and I don't know if I'll ever get one.
Yeah, I had run out of space, and I don't have any more space. I have so many projects that are done that I had no place to put. So what that did, the cabinet behind me.
Yeah.
I stored all my painted stuff in there, but also put my upcoming projects in there. Now that one is just upcoming projects completely because it's in my studio, and then the curio cabinet is out in the living room.
David says your thing looks great.
The thing looks great. It does look good. It's just, I'm warning everyone. If you want the link, let me know. I'll put it in Discord. But you get
what you pay for. Yeah. Cool. Well, all right. Well, this was a interesting show. I thought it was a good show. I had fun. So I will get some models done this week and get some stuff posted on the old Discord.
Right.
I do plan on breaking out I don't know which box I need to find, but I have to find a box in my collection of boxes of my Firestorm Armada stuff so I can start to. It's been so long since I've seen that stuff.
I will have to go online and see if I can find that rule book.
There you go. Gents, it's been fun. See you next week. See you next week, David. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, you got anything else?
Nope, just wish me luck on the truck repair goes well because they're putting the exhaust system on the Explorer, which will be the last major thing I need done. Knock on wood.
There you go.
So,
Victor, Mike has the 80s hair.
you do. He's not wrong.
Dude, I'm growing it out. I'm just done. Not gonna cut it anymore.
Just be a hippie.
Just gonna be a hippie.
Well, there you go.
Just gonna be a hippie. So it's gonna be a long hair hippie sitting around doing nothing. All right, everybody.
All right.
We're gonna jump out of here, and we will be back next week for some more exciting gaming stuff.
Old man talk.
Old man talk. Some good old fashioned old man talk next week. So talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful week and be safe and take care.
See you guys.